And good afternoon, everyone. Um, Nice to see you all coming in already. There were lots of people waiting in the wings for me to hit live today. So come and say hi and let me know where you're from. I feel it's been a while since we've done one with us three, so I will introduce us to you guys. My name is Laura. I'm head of customer success here at CoverageBook. And we have David, who is joining me on the chat today. He'll be doing the main demo part. He heads up um, I've got blank customer, all our customer job roles. He heads up the support over at CoverageBook, and we also have Will, as always, on keyboards. So Will is on hand to answer any question that you have as you go along. So make sure you keep him busy and ask him lots of questions. So today we are going to be talking about outlets, which is a new area in CoverageBook, which I know so many people asked about. So it's where you can see all your publications. I won't take the limelight off David, but he'll show you what you can do now that you can see your outlets and what sort of areas of the app that this is open to. Hi, Nan from Greenville, USA.
Hello.
Nice to see you. Feel free to drop in here where you are. It's always nice to see where you are across the world. So today we will be chatting for about half an hour. We'll have time for questions at the end, but like I said, feel free to ask them as you go along. And we will send this recording out to anyone who's registered. So you don't need to worry about scribbling notes. I'll send you a follow-up email tomorrow, probably, which will have the recording and any notes that we've promised to send you. Hi, Catherine from Chicago, the center of the universe. I like that. So I think, David, I shall hand over to you now.
Great, thanks, Laura. Hello, everyone. Nice to be here today. Yeah, I'm quite excited about this one because it's definitely one of the features that has been requested quite a lot from customers. It's always been possible to see all of the clips that you have in your account, but actually seeing a list of all of your media outlets and publications and being able to make some edits and manage those is something that we've introduced really recently. So I'm going to be covering all of the different features uh, about outlets, and we've also made some pretty major changes which should make working in and out of reports really easy to do as well. So without further ado, let me share my screen. Okay, so you should all be looking at my CoverageBook account now. We have added a new outlets area inside the Coverage Vault. If you've never visited the Coverage Vault before, there is a link in the top left-hand corner of your navigation bar. And if I click into here, this will open it up. The Coverage Vault is an historic record of all of the clips that you've ever added to your account since you've been a customer. I won't go into too much of the information about this side, but just to say that it's a really powerful tool. And if you've never used it before, do check out our FAQs and our previous webinars on the Coverage Vault. Lots of things that you can do here. You can search for and filter by for your coverage. You can look for coverage over date ranges. And this is where you'll come when you're wanting to build annual summaries or 6-monthly or quarterly reports. You can essentially reuse your coverage across multiple books, however you like. I think we're going to be doing a webinar on this in a few months' time when it gets around to year-end reporting. So if you're interested in finding out more, we'll share a link to that webinar when it's ready. But today we're going to be looking at the Outlets tab. So this is a new area of the Coverage Vault. If you click into it, it will open up a list of all of the outlets that have been set up and created inside your CoverageBook account. And by default, we've listed them by the most recently added outlets first. And just really quickly, what I mean by an outlet is it's just the source of your coverage. So that could be a website, it could be a social media influencer's profile, or it could be just a regular social media account. It could be a print publication, a TV spot, a radio show, etc. So anywhere that's the source of your coverage. And there are two ways that you can create outlets within CoverageBook. The first is that as you're importing URLs for your online and social coverage, we will automatically set up and save an outlet for you. So we handle all of that automatically, and we'll even collect new audience metrics and stuff like that over time. The other option is when you have print, TV, or radio coverage, you can upload those manually as files, and it's possible to set up and create outlets that you can save all of your coverage to manually. And we're going to be looking at how you do that a little bit later on. But just to recap quickly on the Coverage Vault outlets area, it's a really simple table with a few things that you can do here. So in the top left, you can search for your outlet by full name or by partial name. So for example, I can search for CoverageBook, and you will see that I've got a CoverageBook Twitter outlet and also a CoverageBook YouTube outlet in my account. You can also search for partial name as well. So this can be quite helpful if you wanted to just have a quick scan through your outlets. Potentially, if any of you have made some outlets with perhaps a slightly incorrect name or a slightly different format, or in fact, it looks like, as I've done here, I've set up two outlets accidentally. This is one way that you can find those outlets in your account, and we'll look at how you can tidy those up later on. If at any point you wanted to clear the filters that you've set as well, just hit the clear filter button and we'll return back to that default view for you. There is also a drop-down list on the left-hand side, and this will show all of your outlets by category. So you can quickly scan through to look at, for example, all of the print outlets that you've set up in your account, or you might want to look at all of your Instagram outlets, etc. So it's just an extra level of filtering that you can do. Now, we've also included some up and down arrows next to all of the columns in the table here, and these can be really, really helpful. The first one allows you to search for, filter for outlets A to Z or Z to A. So again, if you're looking at just having a quick scan through some of the pages of your outlets to see if you have any duplicates or any outlets that have been set up in error, you can quickly do that by searching and filtering for the outlet alphabetically. Let me just reset that again. You can also filter by media type here, and you can search for the newest or oldest clips in your account using the added column filter. The next filter along is actually super helpful, because one of the questions that we got asked a lot on customer support was, how do we know which outlets have been manually created by a user on our account versus which outlets have CoverageBook created? So we've now made a created by column, which will show you all of the user provided and system created outlets in your account. So if you see a system logo, you know that CoverageBook automatically set that up for you when you imported a URL, and anything else that you set up manually will have that user label. The next two columns are currently not sortable, but will just show you the latest audience value, either that we have collected for this outlet or that you have provided for your manual outlets. And we'll also just show the DA value as well, if it's applicable. The final column is actually really, really insightful. I quite like this one. You can quickly sort your outlets by the number of fewest clips and the most clips assigned to it. And this is really helpful, because if you click to see your least used outlets, you might have some that you don't use at all that are set up in error and that you can delete. So for example, this one here, I've got an example TikTok outlet with no clips assigned to it. If I click into this and go to the three dots to the top and right of this outlet, I can actually just delete it from my account permanently, because it's obviously one that I don't use. So you'll just get a warning message there, and then from here I can just delete that permanently. So if you do have some outlets that you don't use anymore, that have been set up in error, you just need to make sure there's no clips assigned to them, and then you can delete those permanently from your account to help tidy everything up. The other filter that you can use is just to switch to show your most popular outlets by the number of clips that you have assigned to those. So, for example, in my demo and test account, TikTok and Spotify are my two most popular outlets that I have. But you may well have some major websites or some other media publishers that you use regularly for your clients. But this is a really good way of quickly seeing what your most popular outlets are just by clicking on the number of clips column. Now, with all of these outlets, everything is selectable here. So you can click into any of these outlets and you can view the clips that are assigned to that outlet. So for example, if I go and look at my CoverageBook YouTube outlet, when you click into the outlet in that list, it will open up the main outlet profile page. And the top section will show you the most recently collected data for this outlet. And you'll see a last updated at timestamp as well. So this outlet was updated today. We will show things like the logo, the name, any descriptive text in the URL, and we will also show the default audience for this particular outlet. So for YouTube, we use subscribers. For something else, like a website, for example, this one here, you will see unique visits and domain authority for that. So all of this detail that you see above, this is automatically being collected by CoverageBook every time you import a new URL for a CoverageBook or system provided outlet. We will collect new data for you. And if you look at the clips list below, this will show all of the clips that are assigned to this outlet. And you'll see that the audience has slightly changed over time for our YouTube account, where you can see back in January we had 235 subscribers, and now we're up to 256, 255. So you will also see an historic record of how the audiences have changed over time in this clips view, which is pretty cool. Now, switching back to our outlets view, one of the other things that we've made possible is that you can now set up a brand new outlet from scratch for the very first time without needing to import coverage first. And this can be especially helpful because if you have teams that potentially want to create a list of all of your most popular and regularly used media outlets, it will ensure that everything's consistent and all of the numbers that you're using are ones that you want to use. It's really easy to do. Just all you need to do is just click on plus new outlet to add one. And we have also consolidated all of the outlet information into one single form, so you can just add everything at once. And what we're going to do here is we're just going to set up a mock print publication. Where did I add that to? Here we go. Is it in there? No. Outlets webinar. Here we go. So I'm going to choose a logo for this print magazine. In the media type column, this will allow you to select the category of the outlet. And basically, it's all of the categories that we currently support within CoverageBook. So if you've got a print clipping, choose print. If you've got radio, choose radio, and so on and so forth. As you select a category from this list, we will automatically suggest the default audience that you might want to add for this outlet. So for a print publication, we'll show circulation. For a radio spot, we'll show listenership, a TV audience, and so on and so forth. And what we can do now is give it a name. Call this one the Olive Magazine. You can give it a description if you want, and then we can give it a circulation. So if you do have audience values available from a media monitoring service or another third-party service, you can add all of those values in here, and we will remember those for when you add future coverage to this outlet. Okay, great. So now we've set up this outlet in our account. All you would need to do in practice is then when your teams are creating new reports, you can just create a report from here. And when you're adding coverage files, we'll just get this clip into the book. So at this point, as you're importing coverage, you can now just click on the Add Outlet Details area above the clip and search to see if you've already added this outlet from your account. We would always recommend that when you're importing coverage files, it's always worth checking whether or not somebody has added the outlet already, because you might well just be able to add that piece of coverage to an existing outlet that you've already created. So we can just search for that here. Okay, and then once we've found it, we can just select it and hit next. Um, this is new as well, so we will actually show you the current outlet profile that you're about to add this clip to so that you can get an idea of what audience and other information will be saved to this clip. And then when you're ready, just click on save. And we'll now pull all of that information through to the clip for you. So hopefully this will show you how you can really quickly and easily just set up all of those media lists in your account in advance for your teams to use. Of course, if you prefer, and you're just happy to create new outlets as you're working inside a book, that's absolutely fine. The process is exactly the same as it was before. Just click on the plus add icon, go to upload coverage files. We'll choose that same image again, just as an example. And then when you've got it saved into the book, click on the add outlet details again. We would always recommend searching for the outlet to make sure you haven't added it already. But if you can't find it, then you can just click on create a new outlet, and this will give you that same creation form that you can do inside the outlets area. So you can just set up brand new outlets as you're working inside a report as you go. We will save all of those outlets for you so you can use those time and time again. So hopefully that will make things a lot simpler for you when you're setting up all of your outlets. Okay, we'll just dive back into the outlets area of the vault. Now, one of the other things that we have done is we've made it super easy and hopefully more consistent when you are editing a clip in a book versus editing an outlet's profile. And I'm just going to go through and cover how you do that now. So we're actually going to dive into an example book here. I'm just going to pick an online piece of coverage. So if you ever just want to make a single edit to a piece of coverage without it affecting the main outlet and changing anything for future use, you can just hit the edit outlet area when you're working inside a book. You can change any of the information that's here, and we will just save it for this particular clip. So for example, if I wanted to adjust the domain authority, or I wanted to perhaps add in my own audience value, I can do that and click save, and it will just update for this particular piece of coverage and all of the reports that it's featured in. Some of you may remember that we used to have the save for future use checkbox down at the bottom of this edit form. We've removed that because we think it's probably better just for you to make a single edit to the clip as you're working. And as I say, that won't affect the overall outlet. So if you wanted to make a quick edit to perhaps to the outlet name or change any of the information, you can do that freely. Just to let you know that when you do make a change to any of the metrics in an outlet on a clip, you'll see that the domain authority from moz.com and the SimilarWeb logo disappears from the clip edit view, and instead will show a user provided label instead. So you'll know that that metric has been changed manually. If you want to, you can also just reset those back to the default values for that clip. Now, if you do want to make a permanent change to an outlet's profile data, you can do that by clicking on the Manage Outlet link on the bottom left of this Edit Outlet Info form. And it basically takes you directly to that outlet editing page that you can also access directly from the outlets area. If you make any changes to the information in this outlet above, we will remember those changes for future use. So all you would need to do is click on the edit area here. You can change any of these values or fields. So again, for example, if I changed the unique visits here and clicked on save, every time you import a new piece of coverage from this outlet, we will add this audience for you as you've overridden it. So just to be aware that if you do make any changes to this outlet profile area here, it will affect all future imports. I'll just go back and reset that as well. What it won't do is it won't affect any of the previous coverage that you've added from an outlet. So for example, if I were to change the subscribers for this YouTube channel here, all of the previous subscriber values would still remain the same, so they won't change. Now, at this point, it's also probably worth mentioning that we've tried to make it really easy and understandable how and when and where your data has been edited or changed in your account. So, for example, for this particular YouTube outlet for CoverageBook, you can see that there's an auto-collected data symbol at the bottom. And this means that all of the information about this outlet is being automatically collected by CoverageBook. So there's nothing that you need to do. We will automatically generate new metrics, new logos, new descriptions as you add new URLs over time. If you have made any changes to a particular outlet's profile, so for example, I actually went in and changed pretty much everything on this blog post from CoverageBook. You will see a message in the outlet that says some values have been overridden. And we will list what those changes are. So you can see that I've changed the description, the name, the unique visits, and the domain authority here. And you'll also see a user-provided label if you've changed any of the metrics. It will also show the last time that this outlet was updated, so on the 6th of September. If you click into the edit view of the outlet, you will also see that we show the original text and the original values. So it's always possible for you to go back and reset those if you would like to do that. So for example, I can just reset all of this information and then hit on save, and you'll now see that it goes back to auto collecting data. So if for any reason you've overridden the values on an outlet and you want to go back to us providing the numbers for you, you can do that at any time. That's no problem at all. Now, just to mention as well that underneath where you see the list of clips, if you have made any single edits to the data on a clip, we'll now show a little orange dot next to the values that you've edited. So you can quickly see at a glance if anyone in your team have manually overridden any of the values for clips in the past. As I showed you earlier, actually, if you did want to just go through and reset the original values on the clip to what they were originally when you imported the coverage, all you need to do is just click into the clip, go to the edit page, and you can just reset those values back to the original CoverageBook provided data, and we'll get those reset for you. So you'll see that that's updated now. So hopefully this will make it possible for you to just edit a clip inside a book. You can make some permanent changes to the outlet for future use. You can also go back and undo any edits that you've made to previous clips over time as well. The third type of, let me just switch back to outlets again. The third type of message that you might see as well is a user-provided data label. So if you have completely created a manual outlet for something like a print piece or whatever, we will show user-provided data so you know that all of this information has been provided by you manually. So hopefully that will be clear also when you've created something like a print outlet. Now, in addition to being able to update the main outlet data in this form above, we've made it possible as well for you to push that outlet data to one or more clips in your account. And this can be really, really helpful. So in this example, I've got a print piece for Nature's magazine. It might well be that I want to update the print circulation numbers to the latest numbers that I have available. So I can save that. So what this means now is that any new clips that I add will have this new circulation value added to it automatically. But if you want to push that information to all of your previous clips as well, you can either select one or select all and hit the update with profile data button. And we'll just give you a little warning to say how this data is going to be changed. Once you're ready, just hit yes and update those clips, and we will automatically update all of the clips in that list with the new profile data. So this should be really, really helpful if you wanted to update follower accounts for a social profile, or if you just wanted to, as I've done here, just update some audiences for some of your offline pieces. That's really quick and easy to do. The other thing that we've made possible in terms of bulk editing is you can now assign one or more clips between different outlets in your account. And this can be really helpful if you have any duplicate outlets or repeated outlets and you want to consolidate all of your clips into the one outlet. So for example, here I mentioned earlier that I made a bit of a mistake and I added this print outlet in error. So what I can do is I can just click into the outlet. I can select all of the clips under that outlet, and then I can choose to assign them to a different outlet. And then from here, I can just search for them. I can find the outlet that I want to add them to. Oh, excuse me. Do that again. There we go. And hit next. We will always show you a heads up as to how that outlet profile data will change when you move your clips across to your selected outlet. And then if you hit yes and reassign, we'll get those clips reassigned for you. And again, once you have an empty outlet, you can now just click on the three dots and delete that outlet from your account. So it's going to be hopefully a lot easier and a lot more possible for you to make global edits, for you to update batches of clips. You can update just a single clip in your book and have it not affect anything else. And just the final thing to show you actually is that if you are inside a report and you do want to switch a clip to a different outlet, you can still do that. Just click anywhere into the edit outlet details, and you've got the assign to a different outlet option here as well. So whether you're working inside a report or whether you're working from the outlets area, you can pretty much do everything from either in a book or globally. I think that's just about everything that I wanted to cover. Did anybody have any questions?
Thank you, David.
It's all right.
We've had a few questions that have come through, but Will has been on the case. I'll just do a summary for anyone who's sort of missed them. David's asked if we had a partnership with SimilarWeb because that's where we get our data from. And yes we do. So yeah, we get all our data from SimilarWeb or our circulation data. And Catherine has asked, are these operational now? And yes, they are. Do you want to quickly show everybody where they find them again? Because it is quite a hidden tab, I think. It's like a hidden
Yes.
treasure chest.
Yeah, the coverage vault is we've described it as a treasure trove before, haven't we? Yeah, so basically wherever you are inside your coverage book account in the main navigation bar at the very top, just hit the coverage vault tab. This will give you the list of all the clips, which is super useful, but you can also then just click on the outlets tab just to switch to viewing all of your media list in your account.
Brilliant. And I think it's one that's been quite tricky to explain, but I think overall it's going to make lots of people's workflows simpler. I know that we've seen in the past, and there's been accounts which have many duplicate outlets with different clips assigned to it. And in the past, it's just been so hard to see it. And also, I think hard to understand whether you're editing something at clip level or more global level. So
Yes.
hopefully now that this is live, it's almost an area you shouldn't have to go into often. But when you do, hopefully now it's nice and simple to see where your data is coming from, because I think that is super important. You have to be confident to know whether it's the data that we've got directly from SimilarWeb or from Moz or something like that, or whether someone in the team for any reason has overwritten it, and whether you want to overwrite it back or reset it to the original value. Because I know lots of people do get asked from clients or people they're presenting to, where are these figures from? Were they larger before? Have they gone down? And I think this would be really useful in understanding for everybody where their data is coming from, what's been edited, what hasn't, and resetting values if for any reason you need to. So I know we're quite excited about this area. You especially were, David.
Especially, yeah, absolutely. I think it's gonna be so flexible for you now just to come in and either make a single edit to a book and just get your report done and edited how you want, or you've now got the flexibility to make some bigger changes and updates, and also push all of those updates to all of your coverage, which you couldn't do before. So it should be
Exactly.
super helpful.
Yeah. And we'd love to hear. I know it's been quite a lot of work at the back end. Faye says thank you. So brilliant. I'll come back to you in a second, David, about the clipper. Um,
Sure.
what was I going to say? So yes, if anybody has any feedback after using the new outlet area, please do let us know. Support at coverage.com. Let us know the good, the bad, and the ugly, because it always helps us improve. Um, the clipper, should we have a quick chat about the clipper? Yes, we know that it's not working perfectly at the moment. So we are internally working out what we should do. You have to go now. No problem. We're just wrapping up. So yeah, we know there's also a security warning on it at the moment. So we're just looking at updating it, and if we update it, what's the best way to do so. So sorry about that at the moment, but we are aware and we are working on it. But if anything else like that comes along, do let us know. I think when we make an update to it, which we're just discussing internally how to deal with it, we'll let you all know.
Yeah. I
Um,
mean, what I would
but
just say really quickly as well, Laura, on that is that if you are finding that you're just trying to fix up a screenshot that's perhaps got some pop-ups or ads on it, drop us a link with the details of the web page that you're trying to add to support at CoverageBook.com, and we might be able to actually fix that up automatically for you so it works perfectly in future.
yeah, it's always worth letting us know of any screenshot that's not working, because David and Will always looking at sort of new recipes and improving it for future use. So yeah, rather than you have to take a screenshot every time, if you always let us know, we can always be working to improve the screenshots, because I know we're always keen to that. No problem. Lovely to see all your questions coming through today. If you have any more questions once we're gone, because I know that's always the way, support at coveragebook.com is the place to direct them to. Nan, I'm glad you liked it. And I think that's it for us today. So have a lovely rest of your day, evening, wherever you are across the world. I will send a recording of this, probably be in your inboxes tomorrow lunchtime-ish. And I think that's it for me. Anything else from you, David?
No, that's everything. Thanks ever so much for joining as ever, and yeah, hope to see you at the next webinar if you can make it.
Brilliant. All right. See you later.
Bye, everyone.